The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. In the dense, chaotic, neon-lit beauty of Tokyo's Asakusa neighborhood, a story was unfolding. And it was one that transcended, music charts, red carpets, and definitely high-stakes international politics.
It really did. This was early December 2025, and that image just landed instantly, breaking the internet across, every time zone?
Every single one. Just them walking so casually hand in hand through a packed street. They were clearly making no attempt to hide.
No, this wasn't a whisper anymore. This was Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau taking their very surprising globe-trotting relationship completely public.
Welcome to StarScope Report. For those of you just joining us, in every deep dive, we plunge into the whirlwind of Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we really do get into the stories behind the fame.
And today, we are tackling a story that is, it's a true collision of two completely separate universes.
Our mission is to fully unpack this baffling, yet you have to admit, undeniably serious pairing. We're talking about the romance between the Queen of Pop, Katy Perry, and the recently departed Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau.
We're charting their super rapid timeline, analyzing the scorched earth Perry left behind during her absolutely brutal year in the spotlight, and exploring the quiet political commentary coming from his ex-wife.
So if you are ready for this epic merger of celebrity and power, you should make sure you're subscribed.
Because this deep dive has more twists than a world tour itinerary.
Okay, so let's just start with the headline itself. The pop icon and the XPM Tokyo shocker confirms global romance.
Read it?
It sounds like something pulled directly from a pitch meeting for a Netflix original movie.
It totally does, but the evidence is it's undeniable. We saw the photos from Tokyo just this week, Monday night, December 3rd, 2025.
And Perry was there for her Lifetime's tour, right? She was scheduled to play the Saitama Super Arena.
Exactly. And she and Trudeau were spotted in the Asakusa neighborhood.
What struck me about those images, though, wasn't just that they were together. It was the very conscious effort to appear low-key.
Totally. Perry was in a brown leather jacket, tan cargo pants, face mask, all while walking with probably one of the most recognizable men on the planet.
And Trudeau was right there with her. Black coat, denim, a baseball cap. They were trying to blend in.
But let's be real. You can't blend in when you're heading to dinner at the Asakusa Sumo Stable Annex.
Okay, right. That's a very famous venue known for traditional Japanese fare and, live sumo wrestling shows.
That's a destination date. That's not a casual stroll.
It's also the culmination of an extremely rapid public affair. We have to backtrack this timeline because it went from zero to global in, 6 months?
6 months, yeah. The whispers started back in July 2025. They were just seen walking and having dinner in Montreal.
Very low-key start.
Very low-key. But by October, the whole narrative was completely reset.
October gave us those very descriptive photographs from Perry's luxury yacht in California. The Daily Mail had these eye-popping pictures.
Oh, I remember those.
They included a steamy embrace, and they specifically noted roaming hands.
Which, to put it mildly, suggests a pretty intense physical chemistry that is clearly moving fast.
Very fast. And then just a couple of weeks later, for Perry's 41st birthday, they make their first truly public hand-in-hand appearance outside the Crazy Horse Cabaret in Paris.
That is not a soft launch. That's a global declaration.
And this is where we need to introduce some skepticism about the source material. Because yes, we have those yacht pictures, but the sources close to the couple are scrambling to control the narrative.
Right. They're insisting that the relationship has merit and is definitively not purely physical.
Which is what they always say.
It's what they always say. They're described as being both smart and love to talk about serious issues.
Hold on. So are we supposed to believe that the steamy embrace with roaming hands was just the preamble to a serious discussion about, progressive policy and international trade agreements?
It sounds like pure damage control.
It's spin. It's designed to elevate a celebrity hookup into some kind of power pairing.
It certainly clashes with the imagery. But if we look at the emotional pull, and this is key sources, do note that Perry is having a lot of fun with Trudeau.
Okay.
And he crucially puts in effort and makes her laugh.
That actually changes the dynamic for me. After the year that Katy Perry had, a year we're about to detail, maybe the intellectual conversations are secondary to just finding somebody who can deliver consistent fun.
And stability, maybe, regardless of his political past.
Exactly.
Which brings us to our next big question. Why this speed? Why this global debut so fast? To understand the urgency, you really have to look at the wreckage Katy Perry left behind during what was arguably the most brutal year of her career. Welcome back to StarScope Report. So our next segment title is From Space Junket to Human Piñata, Katy's Pre-Trudeau Trauma.
Wow.
I mean, if 2025 was a boxing match, Katy Perry was definitely on the canvas before the former PM showed up.
It really was a perfect storm of professional risk, public ridicule, and personal breakdown. When the romance with Trudeau began in midsummer, Perry was already reeling from multiple PR disasters.
The chief disaster, the one that truly derailed her public image this year, had to be the Blue Origin flight.
Oh, the space flight.
She risked being remembered not for her music, but for her sense-defying jaunt into space. It was an 11-minute, all-female flight that was just immediately criticized.
The line was a giant leap in idiocy for humankind.
Yeah. It was treated less like a scientific venture and more like a really, really expensive celebrity junket.
And the viral moments were just pure cringe. She's saying, "What a wonderful world in space."
And then kissed the ground when she landed. The ridicule was just immediate, global, and so intense.
And she clearly felt it. Perry admitted on Instagram she was battered and bruised by the backlash and all the online efforts to turn her into a human piñata.
I mean, it speaks to the level of public pressure that even her friends had to step in. Gayle King, who was also on the flight, tried to defend her.
Right. She said the singing only happened after, immense pressure from fellow passengers, and that Perry had repeatedly refused to sing one of her own hits, like Roar.
So she was essentially coerced into a suborbital sing-along.
Pretty much. But the backlash wasn't just about the space travel absurdity. At the same time, she was embroiled in legal and financial scrutiny that made her look, well, ruthless.
This is the $15 million Montecito Mansion legal battle. Perry and her team were in a long fight over the house with Carl Westcott,
An 85-year-old disabled veteran suffering from incurable Huntington's disease who tried to back out of the sale.
A judge awarded Perry $1.8 million in damages. Legally, a win. But the public narrative was catastrophic.
Every news outlet framed it as Perry money-grubbing from a seriously ill elderly veteran. Just a terrible, terrible look that amplified that image of the detached, wealthy celebrity.
And all of this pressure, the ridicule, the legal drama, it all reportedly led directly to the end of her 6-year engagement with Orlando Bloom.
That was confirmed in July 2025.
And they share their daughter, Daisy Dove. But the source of the conflict was reportedly that Blue Origin flight. Bloom allegedly found the whole thing embarrassing and cringeworthy.
Wow. And after the split, Bloom didn't stay quiet, did he?
Not at all. He immediately took to Instagram, sharing these, highly curated, reflective quotes about new beginnings from deep thinkers like the Tama Buddha and Daisaku Ikeda.
That is a very intentional, very public display of post-breakup introspection versus Perry's chaos.
And the final piece of shade, that Halloween photo that went viral, where Bloom posed next to a woman dressed up as Katy Perry on the Blue Origin flight.
Ouch! Even if she wasn't his new girlfriend, the intent was crystal clear.
So she had a year where she lost her fiancé, was publicly shamed for her space antics, and had her reputation just shredded by a legal battle.
And then enter Justin Trudeau, a sophisticated, highly educated man from a completely different orbit, offering escape and maybe a shared interest in global affairs. No wonder she dove headfirst into this.
She needed a complete image reset.
A total reset.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists and the political deep context, make sure you're subscribed, because we still got to analyze the political implications of this and the very carefully chosen words of Trudeau's ex-wife.
Okay, so now we pivot fully to the other side of this celebrity power equation, Justin Trudeau. Our final segment is titled Separating the Noise from the Music. Sophie Gregoire Trudeau's subtle reaction and the political pivot.
This is such crucial context. Trudeau didn't just casually leave his job to go dating. He served as the 23rd Prime Minister of Canada from 2015, but he resigned in March of 2025.
Right, following a steady decline in popular support and what a lot of sources called a prolonged political crisis in Ottawa.
He exited under a cloud of political defeat and controversy, marking a pretty significant end to a 10-year political career.
Exactly. You don't just transition easily from governing a G7 nation to becoming the global accessory of a pop star.
And his personal life was already complex. He separated from Sophie Gregoire Trudeau in August 2023 after 18 years and 3 children, Xavier, Ella Grace, and Hadrian.
And post-separation, their arrangement remained highly public. Trudeau still lives at Rideau Cottage, sharing parenting duties with Gregoire Trudeau, who moved to a separate home in Ottawa.
Their continued proximity and that shared family focus meant any new high-profile relationship would be magnified like tenfold in the Canadian press and beyond.
And this is why Gregoire Trudeau's single public comment on the romance carries so much weight. It's her attempt to manage the optics of her ex-husband's, well, spectacular pivot into the celebrity sphere.
Okay, so 2 weeks before those Japan photos confirmed how serious the Perry-Trudeau dynamic was, Gregoire Trudeau alluded to the new romance on a podcast.
And her message was incredibly specific and I think highly protective of her own focus.
The quote was that she chose to listen to the music instead of the noise.
I mean, that phrase, music instead of the noise, is just a masterful piece of PR management.
Totally.
She's acknowledging the sheer volume of the gossip, the yacht photos, the global travel, that's the noise. But she's choosing to focus on her own life, her children, her music.
It's the highest of high roads. It's a way of saying, I recognize the absurdity of all this, but I will not engage with the circus.
Right. Although I do have to wonder if she has quietly deleted all of Katy Perry's music from her playlist, just in case.
One would assume she's sticking strictly to classical compositions these days. But let's look at the difficulty Trudeau now faces in maintaining his former life while embracing this new one.
Yeah, because despite the jet setting with Perry, that political family balance is still his stated priority.
Page 6 speculated he might spend the American Thanksgiving holiday with Perry, but we know for a fact he was seen attending Sophie Gregoire Trudeau's Canadian Thanksgiving celebration just last month.
That's a necessary move. The optics of a former prime minister abandoning established family responsibilities for a celebrity whirlwind would be devastating to his already diminished public standing.
He has to show that the celebrity romance is compartmentalized from his duty as a father.
The contrast is just jarring. You have a man who was recently negotiating climate change treaties and national budgets, now photographed in a baseball cap heading to a sumo wrestling dinner.
With one of the most visible women in pop culture.
It signals a profound shift. Trudeau is no longer beholden to the expectations of a head of government. He has essentially rebranded himself, using the cachet of his former power to enter a new, highly visible realm of celebrity partnership.
And maybe filling the void left by his political exit. So let's synthesize this whole deep dive. We've watched Katy Perry engineer a total image reset, pivoting from a year of public shaming into a whirlwind, high IQ, high drama romance with a recently retired prime minister.
And we've watched Justin Trudeau pivot from a political crisis in Ottawa to global yacht photographs and dinner dates in Tokyo. It's the ultimate cultural collision.
It is.
And both partners are using the other's sphere of influence to redefine their own narrative.
We challenge the source material that claims this relationship is purely about serious discussion. But we do accept that after Perry's disastrous 2025, she desperately needed the kind of stability and intellectual depth that Trudeau's background promises.
Right, even if his recent actions don't. And their relationship highlights something critical about the late 2020s, the enduring power of celebrity. Trudeau, as a recently defeated politician, was losing relevance. Perry, as a pop star suffering from PR missteps, was losing her reputation. By combining, they both achieved this massive spike in global visibility and relevance that neither could have managed alone.
So it's a transactional romance, not necessarily in a cynical way, but maybe built on the mutual need for renewed attention and global presence.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought for you. What does this specific celebrity political union, this blend of intellectual cachet, global travel, and steamy, highly public embraces, tell us about what power, attention, and continued relevance look like in a world where politics and pop culture are becoming virtually indistinguishable? Is this the new retirement plan for world leaders?
Food for thought indeed. You've been listening to StarScope Report, where I and my co-host uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.